All right, good morning, and what is up, everybody? Keith Jameson, Go Big Guy 231 across the DFS industry. Quick video today for the Wednesday six gamer. We have a lot more teams playing for things than we did yesterday. Got a lot right yesterday, got a lot wrong. I think the one learning that we could have is that we saw the teams that were playing for nothing, but like we're away. Some of them just rotated crazy, but the bigger teams at home that weren't playing for anything still ruled out number one teams. I think a lot of what I'm like journaling down and remembering for following years is that, sometimes we can overthink things, and assumption of rational coaching, even like for Liverpool with Klopp, like why Mane and Salah are starting, is beyond me, but, we've got athletes at the very top of their game, managers at the top of their game, and maybe the reality is just not taking the foot off the gas is what makes them them. So let's just move on to today. Quick reminder, like, subscribe, comment. Let's just jump right into it. Again, I'm going to talk more than anything about what the teams are playing for, and then just kind of, who the sets and who the top targets are. So let's just start off with Bayern and Barcelona. Bayern has already clinched the group, moved on. That said, they're at home. We saw from yesterday over and over again that meant that teams were still putting out their number ones. So let's just assume that Bayern is doing some version of number one. You can see this lineup is rotated, but if in with Kimmich out, Thomas Moore has been taking a monopoly set pieces. If he's not in, it'll be Serge Gnabry here. I think the biggest decision, though, with Bayern will be playing Robert Lewandowski. If in, Lewandowski is Lewandowski. I think that there is a argument that there's enough teams playing for a ton. And Lewandowski is so expensive that you can fade him. But, that's going to be a decision that, I'll leave up to you. But, it's Lewandowski. But I think based on this lineup, Serge Gnabry would be the best play. Or if Thomas Moore is in, he would be on set pieces. Probably be a split with Gnabry, but both would be great plays. Musiala, superstar youngster. Coleman, a good player. But again, Bayern not playing for anything. There's some risks of substitutions for all of them, but certainly solid plays. They are definitely a much superior team to Barcelona. If for some reason that Bayern puts out just a complete B squad, I think that all of a sudden you could elevate Memphis Depay to a top play. Barcelona is in a must-win situation here. If they lose or draw, it opens up Benfica, who is going to be pushing all out in their game versus Kiev at home, which they should win. They're one of the biggest favorites on the slate. So Barcelona really needs to try to come out strong. The only real plays on Barcelona are Depay and Alba. I guess you could throw Dembele in there, but it's tough to play a guy like him on this slate. Let's go to Benfica and Kiev. Benfica is by far my favorite team on the slate. I think Grimaldo, phenomenal wing back. He's just very, very attack minded, can take some sets. But João Mario has been mainly over monopoly set pieces. He's only 4,900. Solid player. Benfica is going to be pushing early and often. In a lot of ways, just a huge wave. So love João Mario, Darwin Nunez, young future superstar. Rafa Silva, good player. Roman Yaremchuk, goal dependent, but this is a revenge game versus Kiev. So yeah, I'm all about Benfica players and completely off of Kiev. Let's go to Atalanta and Villarreal. This is a play-in game. The winner of this game will move on. United is already in. If this game, trying to think of the right way to say this, Atalanta obviously win, go through. Villarreal draw or win, they go through. So they're both playing for a ton. We know Atalanta is a very, very attack-minded team. Malinowski would be over the majority of set pieces here. You can see some Coop Myers in there as well. It's kind of a little confusing there. They kind of go back and forth. I think Malinowski is the more attacking player. Coop Myers, very, very talented guy, got from Azerbaijan. The biggest problem if you play like a Coop Myers and he doesn't show up with sets is that you just are left with no open play value. So Mario Pasalic has been on an absolute tear in Serie A. So I think he is a really intriguing play that people might not be on. Zapata, high scoring striker. You could sell me on any of these wing backs or attack minded guys, and I would have no problem with it. For Villarreal side, I think Moreno and Parejo are the best plays. Parejo is, your Tony Cruz from yesterday, the guy that always gets there. With them being on the road and being a solid dog at plus 333, I don't think that he's a must. But if you end on him, I'm like, sure, that's fine. Gerard Moreno, their top goal scorer. United may show up with some value. We'll see though, right? Because you got Ragnarik. This is the second game in charge. Does he really want to immediately just rotate everybody and lose, any momentum? I guess we'll see. But if Juan Mata and it's 4,700 would be on set pieces, attacking player as a minus 250 favorite. So I think that would be a really good value. Can open up routes to Lewandowski or to other studs. Sancho, Rashford, Greenwood, that's where I would go. Tejas would probably be split sets with Mata. Tejas has really become their number one left back. So it'll be interesting to see if he is in, or if maybe they do like a Diego Dalot over there on the left, bring Wan-Bissaka in. This will be a lineup dependent thing. For young boys, they still have an outside shot. If you go down here, they have an outside shot at Europa, I believe. Yeah. Because if Villarreal just outright wins, then they can jump Atalanta. So Abisher takes their set pieces. Nagmalu, actually Suamanji then is like a DFS drain. The guy crosses the ball a ton. I think he and Abisher would be a split, but they're both interesting. And then these three, are more goal dependent guys. Let's go to Red Bull Salzburg versus Sevilla. Red Bull always is an attack-minded team. This is the group that just anything could happen here. Anybody can still win. No, except for Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg, though, needs some help. But Lille, Salzburg, Sevilla all can win. And obviously, any of them, Lille could go from leading the group to dropping into the Europa slot if they're not careful. So, no, I got that wrong. Salzburg wins. They win the group because Lille's playing Wolfsburg. So, Lille, as long as they get, I think Lille is through. I should have just double checked this. I'm like, I read all the groups and except for this one, I'm like, oh, everybody's alive. So I'll confirm that, but just suffice it to know that everybody's playing for something. So I don't think we have to sweat too much of like teams rotating here. So Luka Susic and Nicholas Seawald split sets. I like both. You can also get me on Ademi. He's like the next, like, I'll go poor man's Holland, but the striker at Salzburg that like every big team is going to be on. He's a future superstar. This is a tough matchup though. Sevilla's a good team. This isn't like Salzburg playing, any sort of just middling team. Sevilla is near the top of La Liga. Really, really good defensive squad. Lopetegui always has them set up well. So, I don't think that we're going to see like any sort of onslaught from Salzburg, but I do think that you can strongly consider the pieces. But Seawald, Susic, Ademi, those are my favorite plays. Aronson for USA YOLO. On Sevilla's side, I believe Acuna is doubtful or out. Papu Gomez has been back on taking some set pieces. He's interesting as a mid-tier option. If we can get like the Atalanta Papu Gomez, that's something that we definitely are interested in. Rakitic takes PKs. Augustinson always gets forward and crossing the ball, can take some set pieces too. Ocampos, is their quote unquote best player. He's finally starting to find some form. The reality with Red Bull is they can get really open. So I think any of these guys are options to kind of plug in, not only for like last man in and cash, but GPP mini stacks too. Wolfsburg and Lille, huge game for Wolfsburg. Let me just double check. Yeah, because if Sevilla beats Salz, I'm just gonna pause real quick and get this right. Give me a second. I'm sorry, guys. That was poor by me. Give me a second. Okay. So just looking at Wolfsburg, it does advance with a win. So huge game. And then Lille draw or win goes through. So this is a huge game. Max Arnold, if they're pushing a ton, Max Arnold could have monopoly set pieces here. So I think he becomes like my favorite Tony Cruz type of the always gets there guys. And then, you could pair him with Weghorst, who's cheap, Luka Waldschmidt, nice young player. And then Chepka is suspended. That sucks. He's a good player. Otavio Baku should be attacking as wingbacks. Baku is more attacking of the two, but my favorite two would be Arnold and Weghorst. For Lille, this is a tough game going to Wolfsburg. Lille's not always the most DFS friendly to begin with. I think Yazici and Sanchez would be probably a set split. I'd probably be pretty off both of them. I mean, if I go with anybody here, it'd probably be like Jonathan David or Yilmaz as GPP goal getters, but in cash, probably just staying away from it. All right, the 6 games. Obviously, be very attentive on lineups, but this is a fun one. I think there's a little bit more that we can expect for lineup wise and make predictions. Like a little bit easier to make holders today than yesterday. Not going to have to sweat out the Marco Royce thing. I didn't play him in cash. I'll say this for you. I didn't play him in cash because Marco Royce now for 4 or 5 years, ever since he's been on FIFA, right, just struggles to stay on the pitch. So all of a sudden you go in a game that means nothing. Why would Marco Royce, 1, start, and 2, like play past halftime once they're up a man, right? Yeah, there he is. I think he played till like 65 or 70 minutes, was chalk, and you didn't play him and you're a little bit behind the ball. But that's back to what I was saying at the beginning. I think the biggest takeaway is try not to like overthink these things. So if you love Lewandowski and if he's in today, just assume Lewandowski's playing like 80, 90 minutes. Don't make an assumption that all of a sudden, just because he's in, he's going to sub at half. I think that's the wrong way to approach these things. If the guy's in, you just kind of have to assume that he's ready to go and ready to play unless we see or hear a report otherwise. Well, anyway, good luck today. Thanks so much for watching. With that, I'll say, see you.